Welcome back, everyone, to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm here with my third guest, Chandler Hearn from Basement BrewHaus. Chandler, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I was just telling Chandler I have no idea how I stumbled across you. It's in some sort of black hole of like finding out what's going on locally. But, you know, with all the trends in beer and kombucha and, you know, everything on tap now, some of the stuff you're doing is really awesome. All the stuff you're doing is awesome. So you are designing and creating the actual tap systems.
The custom draft tower, the custom draft system, correct.
Yeah, so that are in some bars that I think a lot of people have been to. So can you tell us about, first of all, let's go back to how you got started and sort of where you are now. Give us a little bit of a background.
Yeah, the background is, started out with the homebrew shop in Providence on Smith Hill and selling all the homebrew supplies. That was great. Building people out kegging systems, building out people kegerators. So really learning about the pressure behind kegs and how the whole system works. And a great designer, a friend of mine, Kyla Coburn, was designing the local restaurant, The Grange, and she said, "Do you think you could do the draft system for us?" I said, "Absolutely, I can."
Don't say no. You won't say no to that.
And it was a lot of fun. It was the first big system I did. It's an air-cooled system, so the air runs through, keeps all the lines cold. That's one of the ways that commercial systems work. I thought it was kind of a one-off. And I got a couple other calls. Figdini's downtown did theirs, doing more research, and there's a much more complicated system. So I was like, I should really bone up on this. I went down to Pennsylvania to the Micromatic Draft Technician Academy, got certified through them, got my AWS welding certificate for TIG welding, for building, you know, sculptures. There's a lot of creativity that's involved in it, which is a lot of fun. That's what kind of customizes.
So you can make a sculptures
now. Yeah, absolutely. The
sculpture system.
Yeah, it's really opened up a lot of areas for creativity to evolve.
And you've done the Nitro Bar too. What are some others that locally that people would know that you've kind of set up those systems? You always wonder, like, who did this?
I did Nitro Bar. Like I said, Grange, Figdini's. I put in draft cocktails are coming really into fashion now, and I did that at Viking Hotel, on the rooftop bar of Viking Hotel in Newport, River Falls in Woonsocket.
Oh, I like River Falls.
It's
Nobody
great. I was like,
River Falls.
I didn't, and I'm like, this place is fantastic.
It's very cute.
Anytime I'm up north, I want to stop in.
Yeah, and you're actually, so you're not consolidated locally, which is great for you. You've actually been sending systems all over. I mean, I saw Oregon, you had one. So tell me about some of your more interesting projects across the U.S. that you've been able to do.
Yeah, they do. A lot of them go to the West Coast, Oregon, San Diego. I mean, I just put one out, 2 days ago, going out to Leaf and Comb in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And they're doing a thing called TEF, which is Ethiopian honey wine, and it's a probiotic, low alcohol Ethiopian honey wine. So it's healthy, and it's
healthy, right?
It's healthy. It's only like 2 to 3% alcohol, almost like a kombucha, but it's brewed with honey. It's amazing how people are digging through the annals of history and finding the different traditional ferments and how it, you know, it's one of the oldest methods. So it's really cool. That was really cool. New York Beer Project just opened a new establishment in Victor outside of New Rochelle, and they also have one in Lockport, New York. They're fantastic. So they go all over the country.
I saw some cool like ones that looked like they had like a deer antler kind of.
Yep, that was in
really
Brooklyn.
Neat.
That was I do. Yeah, actually the owner made those.
Okay.
But I do also tap handles for people.
Okay.
And one of the things I think is really cool, a lot of these new bars are opening up in refurbished mills and such. So they want to keep the feel and history of that old mill. So they'll find different spindles or maybe shafts or even old planks of the floor and say, I can make tap handles out of them. So it kind of keeps the spirit of the building, like repurposing the history. It's really great.
So how has this sort of movement of putting everything on tap impacted your business? I mean, are you seeing like you do a majority is beer, but you're also seeing coffee, kombucha, cocktails.
Absolutely.
I mean, what percentage of your business is now moving into these other mediums, and what are the other mediums? Are there any like trends? Like the Ethiopian wine was awesome. Anything else that's sort of happening that you're noticing? Yeah,
I mean, going back, wine started to be on trend. And there's different lines that you need to use different hardware if you're doing wine. That became on trend. And now cocktails are on trend. Draft cocktails are great. Nitro coffee, of course. That's great. And a lot of times when people want, let's say they want a 10, 15, 20 product system, they'll say, can you dedicate 4 lines to wine and 2 lines to cocktails? So they'll know they can mix it up as they want to.
Okay.
It's really cool. And kind of how you're saying it's a new trend. It's also more environmentally sound. You don't have your container. You can reuse the container. You're not taking up shelf space. It's all down below. So
Okay.
it's definitely coming into fashion.
So it seems like your business is kind of taking off because of this whole everybody wants to drink beer now. We just had a brewery on, and everybody's beer is
awesome.
huge. Home brewing is still huge. You can actually install these residentially. Have you had anybody that's done this sort of?
I've done a few.
In a basement bar.
I've done a few for friends and stuff, just like a few taps here and there, in their kegerator, and that's no problem. It's great to have. I mean, you have your friends over watching the game. You can just kind of get either your own home brewer, you can get a little mini keg from the store and just have it right there for you, and you don't have a pile of empties at the end of the week to bring to the recycle center.
So what's your big project that you're working on now?
Well, right now, I have another job that I work at Brassworks in Providence. So Brassworks Fine Home Details in Charleston. They're fantastic. I work with them, and they work with me. Yeah, I do welding, fabrication, a lot of refinishing of antiques and such. But he's kind of given me the go to use the shop, and they have a awesome refinishing shop. So it kind of opened up all these different finishes on the metal, copper plating, nickel plating, powder coating. So it's kind of what I want to do is customize to the total degree. So I guess my next step that's on the bucket list for 2019 is going to AS220, taking the laser cut class, so then I can pattern out whatever it may be, the logo for the bar, any pattern. So it really opens up the creativity to customize for whatever the bar aesthetic is looking for.
And so you have these connections all over now. You've been making these systems for all different places, Nebraska, I saw, Oregon. How are you creating these relationships?
Well, one of the things, as I said, I thought it was a one-off, and I was going along. It'd be maybe one every couple months, cool. And I was like, you know what, I should really try to push this. So I found a great local web designer, Leona Brown, Pow Innovations, and she's like, let me work on your website. Let me get you out there. And now anywhere in the country, you type custom draft systems, and I come up first page Google.
Great.
And if you can't remember, basementbrewhouse.com, customdraft.system.com. Both roads.
Both of them get you there. I like Basement Brewhouse. It feels more like a local, you're doing it in your basement, which
it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's local, but
now
now I have to reach out to the bigger audience, so let them know what I'm doing.
But I mean, you're out there, and if anybody wants to check out your work, I think the Grange is a great place to start because it is really, really cool if you haven't been there. Very cool restaurant, vegetarian, vegan. Kyla Coburn is an awesome designer. Brilliant. So it fits with the aesthetic really well. So I was just interested to hear about the process and see what you're working on, because it feels like this is going to kind of blow up with the expansion of all sorts of things outside of beer that are on tap. So I want to try this Ethiopian wine now.
I know.
Somebody bring that to Providence.
Or I need an excuse to get to New Mexico.
I know, right? Yeah, or New Mexico. Yeah. We'll go to New Mexico for GoLocal and
source.
Check out the wine. Well, Chandler, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you,
we appreciate you coming on and giving us some insight into the system. Seems like you're very educated. So we look forward to what's in store for you next. And if you guys want to check out some of the work he's done, you can head to basementbrewhouse.com. We'll put that link in the write-up after the show. So Chandler, thank you so much. We'll be right back with our last guest, guys. Don't go anywhere.